Bulls Nation, today we had our very first game with this brand new look team for the Chicago Bulls, and of course it did not go according to plan. However, it is important that we pursue that patience to get everybody well adjusted, and I must advise that everything I say in this video about this game is with the thought in the back of my mind that this team had its very first game gelling together. So at the end of the day, there were some big positives, there were some very big negatives as well, and we're going to be talking about all of them in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls related video against the game reaction against the San Antonio Spurs, the Chicago Bulls with their brand new look team: Nikola Vucevic, Troy Brown Jr., Javonte Green, and Al-Farouq Aminu. And I think, with all that being said, we had so much to discuss in this game. We had so many ways for this game to develop, how we played, how the new players played, how some of our current players played. At the end of the day, there is so much to discuss in this game, and we're going to be discussing it all with this game reaction. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts about today's game and how well the new players played, as well as how some of our current players played. At the end of the day, this was a pretty bad game to watch if you were a neutral or if you didn't understand what was going on with the Chicago Bulls. If this was the first ever game for the Bulls that you ever watched, this was probably not the best result you were looking for. The scoreline for today's game was 120 to 104 as the San Antonio Spurs, basically from start to the third quarter, dominated the Chicago Bulls with very, very, very good offensive and defensive play. But with the San Antonio Spurs, you've come to expect this by now from them. They are a very consistent team. They have been ever since I've started watching basketball, with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard. They had so many of those players. Even now, with a little bit of a less roster with DeRozan and that squad, White and everybody else, they are still very consistent in the way they play. They have been ever since I've started watching them. So I expect nothing less from the Spurs to bring that energy that they brought. And in the end, they did beat the Chicago Bulls once again. They are 2-0 against us, and we will no longer verse the San Antonio Spurs for the remainder of the season. But this is the Chicago Bulls channel at the end of the day, so let's talk about how the Chicago Bulls played. You must keep in mind this is the very first game with the likes of Vucevic, Troy Brown Jr., Green, and Al-Farouq Aminu in the team. So there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some gelling issues with this team. And that was very, very, very well known and very existent in today's game. It was a good struggle for the Chicago Bulls. But what do I think about the overall play? First quarter, second quarter, halfway through the third quarter, I thought the Bulls offense, I think we're gonna be fine. I think at the end of the day, today's game, shots weren't going in, and I don't think the Spurs played the best defense they could have, and the Bulls missed a lot of shots. So I think offensively, we're gonna be perfectly fine with the Chicago Bulls. We're gonna be able to score a lot more than what we did today. And I think that's the biggest positive to take away from today's game. We are gonna be a team that will score the ball. And I think with Vucevic, that helps. A healthy Zach LaVine will help as well. Today, Zach LaVine did have a minor ankle injury, and he played in today's game. To be honest, I don't think that was the best decision, considering in the first half, he was non-existent. So, reality is, we can definitely score the ball. My struggle is with defense. I thought defensively today, we were really bad. And that was something that I noticed throughout the entirety of the game. From the starting lineup to the bench, there were very few good defensive highlight plays from the Chicago Bulls that allowed us to get back into this game earlier than what we did. In the fourth quarter, we played very good defense. We moved, we swarmed them, we got some steals, and we went out on the fast break. And that's the best Chicago Bulls team that we are. We are a team that likes to attack the paint, and we like to run. So with that being said, that's where we played out our strengths, where we got a steal and we ran, we got a fast break, or we got an open layup. We got a few and ones in the fourth quarter. And that fourth quarter is a very respectable quarter and a very good quarter for the Chicago Bulls, because we did come back in this game. We made the Spurs a little bit worried, but in the end, you can't leave it that late. You cannot leave it that late to try and come back into a game. When you're down by almost 30 in the fourth quarter, you can't expect to come all the way back. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else really that needs to be said. If you're trying to make a comeback in that game, you've got to do it earlier than midway through the third quarter. You have to be in the game from the beginning. But if you're not, you need to find a way from the very start of that second half to bounce your way back. And the Bulls didn't do that. And at the end of the day, the offense, as I said before, will be there. I truly believe with Nikola Vucevic having a very good game today, in my opinion, with Zach LaVine getting healthier, with Larry Markkinen hopefully finding his way to gel on this team, with Kobe White and Thaddeus Young coming off of the bench, with the addition of Troy Brown that I thought was exceptional today. We have scoring on this team, but you will never get anywhere if you don't have defensive stability, if you don't have movement on defense, if you don't find a way to put pressure on the other team. No trade's going to fix that. So let's just see if the Chicago Bulls going forward will find a way to rectify their defensive errors, because that is the biggest loss on me, is the defense was really bad today. And that even though it's a new team, you're gelling well, you'd expect some sort of stability on defense. So we still have a lot of work to do. I'm very excited to see how this team goes in the future. I'm definitely not going to be targeting the new players out. I'm definitely not going to be targeting the Chicago Bulls. It's one game with a new team. We've made some trades that are trying to get us more wins. It's not going to gel like that. Very few times will you see multiple players come into a team and in a blink of an eye, it gels. It's going to take time. And I think with every single game that we'll see for the Chicago Bulls, we will gradually get better and better until we are that potential team that we want to be, winning games at a semi-consistent level. So with that being said, it is a frustrating loss again. It's a loss that does take us further away from where we want to be. But hopefully with more time and hopefully with more games coming up, especially against good teams, we can finally see this team gel together and maybe we could beat one of these good teams here or there. With that being said, how did the new players do and how did the current players do? We're going to be talking a lot about the box score today. So let's see what I thought about the players that did play in today's game, because there were some very good bright spots in my opinion. Larry Markkinen, 10 points, 3 rebounds in 26 minutes. This, for Larry Markkinen, it's definitely a point of finding his place on this team. He's no longer the second option on this team. So how is he going to find his shots? How is he going to balance his scoring out? How is he going to average the same amount of points that he does average while having Vucevic and Zach LaVine being the bulk of the scoring options? And I think that was a very big struggle today. I didn't see Larry Markkinen take anywhere near the amount of shots that he should for a player of his caliber. But at the end of the day, this could potentially be something that we'll be seeing from him a lot around those 10-point marks, because he isn't really the main second option on the team. When Zach LaVine's out, we have someone there in Vucevic that will be the main scoring option on this team going forward. So Larry Markkinen needs to be and develop into that third option. And I think he could be very capable of doing that. Again, it's just one game. But as a third option, I think Larry Markkinen can thrive with this team. There's going to be less pressure on him. He's going to have open shots. He's going to have open cuts, because the main two pressure points of the Chicago Bulls are Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. So we need the likes of Larry Markkinen and the likes of Kobe White and the likes of our new players coming in and finding easy buckets. He's going to get a lot of easier shots, Larry Markkinen, because of this. So I think he should be the one that benefits the most out of anybody on this team. At the moment, in today's game, not the best, not the worst, but definitely not the best. And I do definitely think he can do much more with the minutes he's given. So let's see how that goes with future games. I don't really have any issues with Larry Markkinen. I really think he will develop. And if he doesn't, then it could be the end of him with the Chicago Bulls. So I guess that's up to him. If whatever he decides to do, he needs to play better for a new contract, or he needs to play better in general just for more money. So he's going to have an incentive to do better than what he did today. Patrick Williams, 6 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. The number 44, Patrick Williams. Very weird to see. I don't think he was tremendous in this game. I just thought it was a very average game for Patrick Williams. These are the type of games that you tend to accept because he's a rookie. But at the end of the day, I don't think he contributed tremendously in this game. It is what it is. He's still a young player. Again, he is someone that I can see really thriving. And just imagine if Patrick Williams lives up to the potential that we all see from him, with Zach LaVine and Vucevic, Larry Markkinen potentially on this team. that is a very good starting lineup for the Chicago Bulls. But in reference to today's game, I thought he could do a lot better than what he did. I thought he was a bit aggressive. He did have a nice dunk in this game. There's not too many plays called out for him, so in the end, he's not going to make too many shots. So that's what I thought about Patrick Williams, in all honesty, and let's see how he goes moving forward. Nikola Vucevic, the new number 9 for the Chicago Bulls. 21 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. A fairly good game in his first game for the Chicago Bulls. I thought defensively he was a bit wild. And again, we all know Vucevic isn't a terrific defender. If you talk to Orlando fans, they will say he's a very underrated defender. And to an extent today, he was an underrated defender. But there are clear, especially in the pick and roll, there were some issues there with Nikola Vucevic. That's the negative you can take out of it. On the positive, he had 21 points today. He made some good threes. He gelled well in the starting lineup with the offense. He helped make the Bulls come back in the fourth and the third quarter. And this was probably not the best you're going to see from him. So that's good positives to take away from this game. He scored 21 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds in his first game with the Chicago Bulls, in a team where he was trying to gel and fit into the environment, try and find players to get open, and he wasn't really looking for his shot, yet he still got 21 points. So I really think we have a lot more to look forward to with Nikola Vucevic, and I really can't wait to see how that pick and roll game with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic will play out, how the post game and how Zach LaVine should get freer and less stress on him. I really think this could definitely be a duo that could be dangerous in the long haul, and I thought he played very well today. Someone that I didn't think did too well today was the other guy that we should be talking about, the second All-Star, or the main All-Star on this team, Zach LaVine. 18 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Zach LaVine in the first half, I didn't notice him at all. And to be honest, when I heard that he had an ankle injury coming into this game and he was going to play through it, I was a bit worried, because at the end of the day, ankle injuries could do a lot. They could aggravate into something else. And the last thing I wanted to see on the first game with Nikola Vucevic and his brand new team pretty much is an injury to one of our best players. But thankfully, it looks like he's fine. I don't think he should have played in today's game, to be honest. And in the second half, I really thought he should have not played in the second half, to be honest. But regardless of that, he did have a nice, good run in the third quarter. He got around 8 points in a row. And he played all right, but I definitely think he could do 10 times better than the game that he had today. And again, I want to see more aggression from Zach LaVine. Just because Vucevic is here doesn't give him the right to play passively. And that goes for a lot of our players. We must be aggressive. And that's how we're going to win our games, by being aggressive, by attacking the opposition team offensively and definitely defensively as well. And that's how we're going to win our games. And the three-point shooting wasn't terrific from anyone on this team, and Zach LaVine was included in that. Satoransky, 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds for Tomas Satoransky. A very average game, I should say, for him. He was definitely frustrated, and I think you could tell from the very beginning of the game, he was very frustrated with how, I guess, the Bulls were playing and how he was playing as well. He took it out on the rim with a good dunk, but outside of that, only played 17 minutes. He wasn't really effective in today's game. I just think it's just one to forget for Satoransky. I still think he should be the starting point guard. I still think playmaking-wise, he still has a lot to offer us. And yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see how that goes in future games. But definitely not the best from Satoransky. And hopefully in our next game, he'll be able to find a little bit more in terms of affecting the game, and I think he will. Again, he's a decent player. He's someone that I think can bounce back from this fairly easily. Coby White, 13 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. Coby White in the second half absolutely blew up, and I saw many people targeting Coby White, and to be honest, in today's game, I don't think there's too much to complain about with the way Coby White played. He's a bench player coming in, contributing with 13 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. And I thought he did very, very well. His shots were going in today. At the end of the day, the difference between Coby White having a good game and having a bad game is if his shots fall or not. Because he's taking very similar shots. The question is, if they fall, he's having a good game. If it doesn't fall, he's having a mediocre game. He got 4 assists in this game as well. I think he contributed the most out of the bench unit in many ways, probably outside of Thaddeus Young. And I definitely think he is someone that could definitely step up with a lot of these players coming in. With more offense coming in, Coby White might be able to find his shot a little bit more. He was definitely aggressive, maybe too aggressive at times. But again, I like to see aggression out of Kobe White because I think he has the potential to be that lethal scorer off of the bench that we want him to be at this point in time, or even sometimes in the starting lineup. All we need from him at the moment, in my opinion, is to score, because I think we have enough around him for him to be able to find his shot consistently. So it's up to him, it's up to the Bulls to find him, and he has to find that balance, and he also needs to find his willingness to score. Today's game was definitely not the worst from Kobe White. Garrett Temple, good to see him back. 4 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. In 22 minutes played, it was okay. It was good from Garrett Temple. This is basically what he's been doing all season pretty much. He's that consistency guy, plays some defense, gets some scoring options, finds his teammates at times. He is that type of guy. It's good to see him back for the Chicago Bulls. I'm not sure how much minutes he's going to play going forward, but I definitely think that it was very good to see him back. I think he makes a difference to this team, and hopefully we get to see that with a victory coming soon, hopefully. Thaddeus Young, 10 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Thaddeus Young was definitely the best bench player on the team for the Chicago Bulls today. There were a few shots where he got blocked, and there were a few instances where he didn't look at his best. But for the most part, Thaddeus Young was what Thaddeus Young always is. And I'm glad to see that out of everything that has changed for the Chicago Bulls, Thaddeus Young's attention to the game and the way that he plays has not changed. So that's what I'm very happy to see, and we can see this consistency out of him coming off of the bench with more consistency out of everybody else. I really think we're going to be in good form in future games. So I like to see how Thaddeus Young kept up his play with everything else that changed. Troy Brown, the new guy. Wow, I thought he was very impressive today. 8 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound for Troy Brown. Very good with 14 minutes played to get that kind of production out of him. I definitely think he's earned his playing time at the moment. With a game like that, his debut game, and playing the way that he played with very few minutes played, he's going to be earning his minutes here. And that's all you want at the end of the day. You want competition. You want the competition for places in this team. And with Troy Brown playing, he definitely showed that he's ready to battle and he's ready to earn his minutes. Given that opportunity, he will be there ready to play. And that means people like Al-Farouq Aminu, people like Denzel Valentine, even Javonte Green. So many players need to step up now to try and compete with the other players that did step up. Troy Brown stepped up in this game, and I believe he should be earning more minutes for the way that he played. Al-Farouq Aminu, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Not too much to say for Al-Farouq Aminu. I would say it's a pretty average first game for him, probably even worse than average, only played 12 minutes. But again, defensively is what I'm looking for Al-Farouq Aminu. Offensively, I'm not expecting him to score buckets every single night, but defensively is what I need to see. And at the end of the day, I think this was an average game. Javonte Green, 4 rebounds. That was his stats. Denzel Valentine, 2 points, 2 rebounds. And I don't really need to mention everybody else, do I? One player that didn't play was Daniel Tice, who'll be playing at the Golden State Warriors game. The must improve for the Chicago Bulls. Man, you could go with a lot of people here. At the end of the day, we lost pretty harshly, pretty badly. So you could name anybody, really. I think the player that I want to pick out specifically is probably Larry Markkinen with only 10 points. Because I feel like the third option, he could have so much more than just a 10-point game. You know what I mean? Like, some players, especially when you have Zach LaVine, Vucevic, you have 2 players that most of the team are pressured on. Larry Markkinen is going to be a lot more open, and Larry Markkinen is going to be a lot less. People are going to pay a lot less attention to him compared to the other players on the court. So with the capabilities he has scoring, I think he needs to be aggressive, and I think the Bulls need to find him a little bit more, as well as, of course, Zach LaVine and Vucevic doing their thing as well. It's going to be very hard to stop this team when they've got their team chemistry together. So with Larry Markkinen, he's my must improve, because I think he could do 10 times better as that third scoring option than what he did. That's basically it. And the player of the game, I'm going to give it to Vucevic in his first game with the Chicago Bulls. A near double-double, 21 points, 9 rebounds. This is what we brought him in here to do, to score, to do the pick and roll, and to be that center. And this is the first time we're going to experience a center like this for a long time for the Chicago Bulls that is able to score the way that Vucevic scores. I'm very happy to give him that player of the game in his first game with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls record is 19-25. Again, a whole new team. So it's gonna take some time, and I know I should be upset that we lost to the Spurs again after what they did to us before. But at the end of the day, I'm looking beyond the Spurs, to be honest. I respect the Spurs. They're definitely one of my favorite teams to watch of all time, and that still hasn't changed. So I respect the Spurs a lot, and I said that in the last video, and I'll say that in this video. But I'm looking towards what we can be in the future, not really what the Spurs did to us today. I kind of expected that the Spurs would come out ready to play because they have been on a losing streak, and I kind of expected the Bulls to fold in this one, and that's pretty much what happens. But with a new team, all we can hope for is better progression, and all we can hope for is very good victories going forward, with hopefully that team chemistry getting really, really, really tight, and we can find our offense extremely easily, and defensively we can get a little bit better. The next game's against the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, that's a very tough team. And again, last time we versed them, we lost to a buzzer beater by Damian Lee. Yeah, that guy. I won't forget that game. I won't forget that shot. That was a very tough shot to make, and the Warriors won that game based off of it. I think the Warriors are 10 times better now than what they were in that game. So this is going to be a very tough game for the Chicago Bulls. But I hope we're up to that challenge, because I really think we have an opportunity here to beat some good teams if we can keep it together. And this game is a bad representation of what we can be, but hopefully in the future we will truly see what this team's all about. All I can ask is to give it more time. We don't have a lot of time left, but that's what we need, time. And let's see how quickly this team can come together. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed that first game for the Chicago Bulls. I personally thought it was a good experience to see how this team will play most likely. But I know we could do 10 times better than that. So in the end, it's a positive and a negative. And hopefully against the Warriors, we will see a better performance out of the Chicago Bulls. Take care and peace.